Hey, and welcome to another Political Blitz episode where I, Chris Clemmons, try to answer your burning political questions in 5 minutes or less. Today's topic has to do with President Trump's tariffs. Do I support this decision? Do I not support this decision? If so, why? If not, why not? Quite simply put, I believe this was a terrible decision. I believe this was a terrible decision for three reasons. Number one, it was unconstitutional. The president does not have the ability to lay tariffs on imported goods. Number two, the unconstitutional law that the president is currently trying to invoke, he does not meet the criteria for. So he doesn't even have the power within the law that he's trying to use to apply these tariffs. And third, the tariffs will have a net negative impact on our economy. It's going to basically kill a lot of manufacturing jobs here in the United States. And it's going to mean an overall higher cost of living for Americans overall. Why do I say that? Well, the tariffs themselves are being applied at the raw goods level. That means any manufacturer who uses steel or aluminum is going to see an increased cost of their production. That means that cost is going to be passed on to the consumer overall. Sure, the tariff is only being applied to imported steel and aluminum. The problem is that U.S. Steel is going to raise their prices as a result of this so that they can get more profit and hire more workers and so on and so forth. So it's not just, imported steel and aluminum that's increasing in price. The U.S. Steel is also increasing their price in response to this tariff. Now, that means if I'm Maytag and I'm making washers and dryers and refrigerators, my product is going to be more expensive. And let's say my competitors over in China or over in, say, South Korea, LG and Samsung over in South Korea, those tariffs on their raw goods don't apply to them. They're in another country. They don't have to worry about, other countries' steel being suddenly artificially increased in price. So that means their prices on their washers and dryers are going to remain the same, meaning they're going to better compete with American products who have now increased in price when they decide to import their goods to the United States. So you might actually see a reduction in demand for American-made goods simply because other countries can better compete with American products in the American market now. So, those manufacturing jobs that we have seen, decrease over the last, say, 20 years are going to decrease even more because the margins for profit are going to shrink even further due to these raw good tariffs. So this was not a good idea. This was a very unwise decision on Donald Trump's part. Now, I mentioned illegality and unconstitutionality to these tariffs. Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution gives the legislative branch the power to lay taxes, excises, and duties on products in the United States. That is clearly written and very specific. A tariff is a duty or a tax on imported goods. The American people pay that tax, right? So that falls within the legislative branch's power. Now, the legislative branch illegally gave some of this power to the executive branch in instances of national security or where national security is at risk. This is due to a 1962 law called the Trade Expansion Act. And the Trade Expansion Act, in Section 232, like I just said, gives the power to apply tariffs to the president in instances where national security is at jeopardy. The fact of the matter is, national security is not in jeopardy by any measure, and therefore, President Trump does not have the ability to invoke this law. So not only is this a bad decision economically, but the law he's trying to use, he doesn't have the power to do so, and thirdly, this is unconstitutional. It's a usurpation of power from the legislative branch. So, what Congress needs to do at this point in time is if he actually does attempt to apply these tariffs, they need to step in and block his ability to do so, because he does not have the power to do it. So I hope that answers your question. Remember, I'm not accepting any donations larger than $100, so every like and every share is going a long way with this campaign. Thank you, and I look forward to your next question.